right.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, yeah.
I'll let you.
Hi, Jen.
Hi. We're good. We're ready.
So,
Okay.
I want to
I'd like to welcome everyone to the first of a three-part series of webinars.
about
About a new self-direction. And this first webinar is about the developmental disability shared vision with Kim Chatney and Jenna Crafton.
All right, so we'll jump in. Thank you, Rick. And Jenna and I are very excited to be part of this. I think the timing is great, and I know Rick planned it that way, that this is leading up to Key Campaign. So that's a big advocacy opportunity that we do here in Alaska every year, and we want to get everybody well prepared for that. But we're really going to be talking about advocacy in general and how to be strong self-advocates. So Jenna and I are going to share with you the talk about the shared vision. And webinars are always kind of tricky because it's one-way communication right now. What we're going to do is Jenna and I are going to share some information and examples for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to unmute everyone. So if you have ideas to share or questions, we'd love to hear from you. So many of you may have heard about the shared vision, but as advocates and people working with people with disabilities, we want to make sure that everyone has a good understanding of the parts of the shared vision. So I'd like to start off by introducing ourselves. My name is Kim Champney. I'm a consultant and I work on projects all over the state of Alaska, but I live in Juneau, and for many years I worked with people with disabilities in Juneau for a great organization that I'm happy to see is online today, REACH. And so I do work on lots of projects, but I will say the Shared Vision project is my favorite. And I have a lot of passion for that. And one of the things I love is I get to work with lots of people like Jenna, who are really good advocates and very passionate. So Jenna, will you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Jenna Crafton. I live in Eagle River, and in the photo next to Kim's is I met in Papua New Guinea. I sailed around the world with my parents, my sister, and my brother for 7 years, and I was meeting people. And I have a basket, so we're weaving. And I put a basket on my head to be silly, I guess, goofy.
Yes, and so everybody, it looks like people are really enjoying spending time with you, Jenna, in Papua New Guinea. All right, so the shared vision, and I have it here with a picture of Key, because it's key to our advocacy, but also the Key Coalition and Key Campaign has been a great supporter of the shared vision. And actually 2 years ago, the shared vision was a big part of Key Campaign. And we were successful in passing and getting legislation that made the shared vision a part of Alaska law. So now in the regulations for services for people with disabilities, our shared vision is there. And that's an important thing to know as we advocate and talk with people to say, did you know it's part of Alaska law that we think this way? So that's why we want everyone to really have a good understanding of what it's about. The shared vision came from lots of people having ideas. So here's a lot of people, little light bulbs. 3 years ago, I was part of a group that went out and asked people, what would you like to see for people with disabilities? And what would you like the services to look like? And we asked over 200 people that question. And we took all their ideas and made them into one big idea. And so these are all the different ideas people had, the words they used. This is called a word cloud. And what you do is you put all the ideas into the computer program and it creates this cloud based on how many, and the bigger words are the words that came up more often. So things like person and individual and support was the biggest word, service and need. And so we took all those words and we came up with this shared vision. And the vision is, I have at the top, it says, I have a dream, because the vision really is like a dream. It's what people want for the future in Alaska. And so I'm going to read through the vision now, but then Jenna and I are going to take each of the ideas in the vision and talk a little bit about what those mean. So the vision is that Alaskans share a vision of a flexible system in which each person directs their own supports based on their strengths and abilities toward a meaningful life in their home, their job, and their community. Our vision includes supported families, professional staff, and services available throughout the state now and into the future. So the big ideas Jenna and I are going to talk about today are the ones that are in black letters underlined. And we're going to take each of those ideas and explain it in our own words. So the first one we're going to start with is Alaskans share a vision of a flexible system. So a flexible system means that when something happens in a person's life, because life changes all the time, that the services can change too. For example, if somebody gets sick, maybe they need more services for a while, and then they get better and they don't need as many services. They don't have to worry about letting go of those services because they know if they needed the extra help again, they could get it. And that flexibility would happen easily and quickly. Another example of flexibility is having different kinds of services available. So maybe you need a ride somewhere, but you don't necessarily need to work on any goals while you're taking that ride. That could be available when you need it. So that's part of the vision, is that flexibility. So Jenna, why don't you share an example from your own life about something you're hoping might happen for yourself where you might need different services?
I want to get a job in Juneau to be a page person, and you need help with services to get to Juneau, and I don't drive, so I need somebody that drives and have help to get to work and from work.
Right, and you haven't been to Juneau yet, even though you're going to come during Key Campaign, but it would be hard to a place where you've never been and have a new job. You would need more services than you get now. So you would need somebody to help you learn the new job and how to get to work and where you could live and how to get groceries and that kind of thing. But then when you move back to Eagle River, you wouldn't need those services again. So that's kind of that flexible system. All right, so the next idea that we're going to talk about is each person directing their own support. And as we talk about these ideas, I would encourage people who are online to think about what does this mean for me when I'm advocating with people? What would I say I need as far as flexibility in my life? And in each person directing their own supports, what we mean by that is that people with disabilities truly can make choices about how they want their services, how those are provided, and what kinds of services are provided. And at times, especially in the last 20 years or so, partly because our system has had a lot of changes going on, there aren't a lot of choices. Sometimes people with disabilities have to take what's available to them, and it's not necessarily what they need. Or sometimes they might want something different, and it's hard for people to get their voices heard because maybe the team has been the same for a long time and they say, oh, we know what this person wants, or this is how we've always done it. This is the best way. Or sometimes even parents and guardians are worried about a person and maybe say, I know this is what she says she wants, but I don't think she really means that. And what the vision is really about is every person has the right to make those decisions. And one question I get sometimes is, well, what if a person can't speak? They can't direct their own support. Well, the vision believes every person can, every human being has things that they want in their life, and they have ways they want to live their life. We just have to figure out how to listen to that. And so some people may need extra help getting their voices heard. So Jenna, can you share a little bit from your own life about how that works? Maybe times when people didn't listen to you, or people in your, or how people in your life support you to make decisions?
I you have your family members help you through it, like your cheerleaders, and help you guide your ideas and your concerns to your family, so they like your cheerleaders and your small village. They come together and they help you out all best they can and
Yeah.
get you all goals they need too.
So you are making the decisions, but you have people who are cheering you from the sidelines, helping you be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have there been some times when people have not listened to you in your life?
Yes, but you just gotta try it again and just hope for the best.
Keep at it, huh?
Keep at it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the next idea we're going to talk about is that services and supports are based on people's strengths and abilities. And what this is really thinking about what is a person good at and how do we focus on that in every part of their life. Jenna and I talked a little bit about math because both of us don't love math, but sometimes when we're not good at math in school, what happens is they make us do more math. Like you get a tutor and you practice math extra, and maybe you take extra classes in math instead of saying, this person isn't good at math, so let's find something else for them to spend their time on. And one thing I want to share is in Alaska, I think we're doing a good job with this, with employment, with jobs, because Employment First has really pushed doing a process of discovery and talking with people about what their passion is and what they're good at and finding a job that matches that. And the idea with the vision is that we do that in all parts of our services. So instead of when we're planning, thinking about, well, what does a person need help, not do well? Maybe instead of making them do it more, you think of things they can spend their time on that they're really good at instead of fighting it. Sometimes, some people are just really bad cooks. They don't like to cook. They don't want to cook. So maybe there's another way that they can have a roommate who cooks for them, but maybe they really like to clean and they're very good at it. So that would be an example of how you could do that. So Jenna, will you share with us about your superpower and how that, really what that could help you do in your life?
I'm a people person. That's who I am. And it's one of my strengths because I like meeting people so much. Math was so difficult, so my mom and dad finished 8th grade, and then we went sailing because the school was too stressful, and I have highs over me, so the peer pressure was so bad. So you want to just start while you're working on your weaknesses and work on your strengths, and here are your goals to get to your strengths, and you feel really good when you see the goal.
Yeah.
And then you have your cheerleaders on the side and say, "Oh, keep on going." And
yeah,
one day
so
to be about Squeedle.
So you're a people person. So what kind of job? What's your dream job that might use those people skills that you have?
A page.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want to work in advocacy, right?
And advocacy. Uh-huh.
Working in the government. Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing about that. So the next idea, the next big idea is we want services to help people live meaningful lives in their home and their job and their community. And a meaningful life is a life full of meaning. It means a life where you feel purpose, like you're important in the world and you have value. And sometimes in our communities, in our world, we think, oh, people with disabilities, particularly maybe people with who are really different, who have more significant disabilities, people think, oh, we just need to take care of them and make sure they're safe and physically healthy. But what's really, really important is things like emotional health and well-being and social and intellectual and relationships. And so the dream is that our service system is so well supported by the state and by our community, we don't even have to worry about the physical health and safety, that we're working on helping people lead meaningful lives in their homes and their jobs and their communities, and doing things that are important to them. So Jenna, will you tell me a little bit about the meaningful things you do in your life? And I also want to remind you, you were going to share a story about Gunsmoke.
Oh yeah. Let's do the Gunsmoke now. So some providers and mostly the government want to put you in a room with a TV and just let you sit there, watch Gunsmoke and Bitch Witch, and just watch that and not eat healthy. You can't enjoy life, and where's your dream from that? You gotta, and that's not right because you just waste your life away. You should get your dream, and I don't want people to put yourself in the system, to put you in the room and watching TV and you just enjoy it. You can't do that.
Yeah, because can you share some of the cool things that you do in the community? Like, are you involved in volunteer work?
Yeah, I'm part of the Lions Club and I'm part of volunteering at the Providence Hospital, and I go to Hope and do crafts.
Mm-hmm.
And DD Vision.
Yeah, you're involved
in the campaign too.
Yeah. So you have a lot of things that you're doing in your life that are really important to you, where you're making a difference in the world.
And do pottery. I own pottery business.
You have a pottery business. Yep. And so when we think about advocacy, so many of the people online listening to us, you all probably are involved in meaningful things in your life. And it's important to talk about that. So there isn't the impression that people with disabilities are not involved in their life and not working and not part of community organizations like Jenna was talking about. We don't want people to be just put away in a room, right?
No.
All right, let's see what the next one is. So our vision includes supported families. And Jenna, you've talked a little bit about the role of your family, but when we were talking to people about what ideally will the support system look like in the future, families talked about how important they were in the lives of their family member, but sometimes it was difficult to get support that they needed. And sometimes the family's role in the person's life wasn't always recognized or valued. And so you've talked a little bit about the role of your parents. You want to talk about how kind of what that looks like for you with your family?
Sure. My family is a good is like my cheerleaders and help get your goals meet and what your dreams, and they supportive because they want you to achieve something, not to achieve something.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, when I think about the advocacy message with supported families, the state government, the state of Alaska, will never be able to provide services and lives for people with disabilities without families being involved in that. There's not enough money to do that, but also it's so much better because your family loves you and knows what you want to do. And even, and there are also people who have people in their life, maybe they weren't born into their family, maybe they aren't family by blood, but they become like family because they're good friends and they support each other. And those are the cheerleaders in your life too.
And you want to have a small, village, a healthy village. A healthy village is more accessible and get your goals meet. If you don't have a bad village, say if you have a bad village and nobody tell you, all disabilities going to go back to the room and don't eat well, and they have their death certificate right there. So this, you gotta look up and have good support team and good cheerleaders and healthy village.
Right.
And
that could be one.
Let the disability people need to be healed, then don't shut them out.
Yep. And so in advocating, talking about the importance of that idea of healthy villages means families that are healthy and that we really support families from the beginning. All right, let's see what's next. I think this is like Jenna and I's favorite, one of our favorite ones. Our vision includes professional staff. And when we're talking about professional staff, what we mean with the vision is direct support professionals, DSPs, the people who work day in and day out with people with disabilities. And I know there's probably some of you online, you have a DSP who works with you each day, and that person can make a really big difference in your life, probably one of the biggest differences in your life outside of your family. And so the vision is the message we want as advocates to share when we're doing key campaign or when we're talking to people about disability services, is how valuable a good DSP is. So Jenna, I know when we've had our conversations, you've had good DSPs working with you and you have had not so good DSPs working with you. And it can make a big difference. Do you want to share a few ideas about that?
Sure. Let's start out with the bad ones. I have a personal staff working with me, and she used drugs, and so she drove off the side of the road. And there's one is have a gun in the car, and I don't feel safe, and people shouldn't like that because your family, your small village, and your family members trust somebody to come in your home and take care of the disability person. You can't have somebody work with you if you're carrying a gun and you don't feel safe. It's just asking for trouble, it seems like.
Right.
That's your red light. You gotta, if you want to meet your personal staff, you gotta go to the coffee shop with your small village and your family members. Just meet them. If it's a good fit, good. If they not, have your red light on and have a feel. Just don't be scared how they feel, because if you have them feel before and say no, that's not a good fit, that's the power of you, and you want to be healed, and it just work out better.
Yeah, it's really, that is advocacy too. Speaking up, if your red light's going off inside, like you don't feel right with your staff person, it's good to speak up. And if you have a good person working with you, you should tell them every day how valuable they are, that it's good to have somebody who's a cheerleader and supportive and knows what they're doing. And we've talked about the importance of training, because sometimes people just don't have the right training, they get lost and they don't know how to support a person.
They just got the CPR license and they got hired because they desperately need somebody to personal staff to work with disability people. They should have a little bit more training and a little more guidance to become a personal staff person.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So yeah, the message is for advocacy is we need good direct support professionals, and we need to invest. We need resources to hire good people. So a couple more thoughts, that services are available throughout the state. And we know Alaska is a huge state, and there are really small places, villages that are difficult to get to, and bigger cities. And that we want people to be able to live wherever they want to live and have support. And support and services might look really different in a very small village that's difficult to get to versus Anchorage or Fairbanks or Juneau that have bigger communities. So we need that flexibility in how services are provided. And then the last thing is that we want our services to be available now and into the future. And as budgets, the state budget gets tighter and tighter, and there's a lot of challenges going on, we want to make sure to advocate the importance and the value of having services so that we can achieve the shared vision. One of the things that Jenna and I have talked about in her family is if you get the right support, if you have somebody working with you who helps you be as independent as you can be, and you live in a place where you're supported and a community that gives you the help you need when you need it, and you can get transportation, that actually you need very few services. If any, you might not need any services if you had everything set up right for you. And there are a lot of people who with disabilities who, if they got the right situation, wouldn't need very many services. And that would save money for people who need a lot of services, because there are some people who are always going to need a lot of services. And so the message being, let's make the investment in our service system so that people can be as independent as they can be. And that will have the services ongoing for people who need them. So now we are going to shift gears a little bit. We have a few more thoughts to share before we open it up for conversation. We want to talk a little bit about why we need the shared vision. All of us online are probably people who know about services, who know about people with disabilities. And this seems like, of course, why wouldn't we want these things? But why do we need the shared vision? And why is it so important to know about? Well, one of the things is there's strength in unity. If you can picture actually thousands of people standing together in the shape of the strong person flexing their muscles. So all those people together made this strength. And what we believe with the shared vision is if everyone is saying the same things, if when we have the conversations, we're talking about flexible services, professional staff, people directing their own supports based on strength and abilities, if we keep saying that over and over and over, those same words, then the people who are in charge at the state and the legislature and our community leaders, they start to know the vision and they start to believe it and think that's the way it is. I was joking with Jenna earlier this morning. I saw Star Wars last night, and this makes me think of the Jedi mind trick where you just say, yes, we have a flexible system, and you keep saying it over and over, and the people are like, yes, our system is flexible. It starts making those decisions that way. So strength and unity, everybody's saying the same message. Another thing is the vision is like a map. Helps us get to the right place. So we know people with disabilities want control and empowerment in their life. Jenna, you don't want people telling you what to do and controlling what you do. You are an adult woman and you want to make your way in the world. And all human beings want that, for example. So the vision gives us some guidelines. We want our families to be supported. We need good staff. We want things based on strengths and abilities. The other thing that the shared vision does is it allows us all to have a piece of it. So the vision cannot happen just by state government. The state cannot make the vision happen. Service providers cannot make the vision happen. Or community partners like Peer Power or the Key Coalition or the university or our community organizations. We all have to be working towards the same thing to actually make it a reality. And right in the middle are advocates. You need advocates, particularly people with disabilities who have the stories to share and the experiences to share and the passion and the heart to say, this is about me and my life and what I need. And that is a very important thing. So we all have a piece in that. And then this last one is Jenna. I would like you, Jenna, this is her thought that we would like to leave you with. So Jenna, can you explain this slide?
Sure. So it's Statue of Liberty. So liberty is freedom, and we not broken and don't need fix. And the 5 piece is for if somebody burned out or is struggling in the dark ages. So we have a light to have the tunnel go through.
Right.
For the light.
A light in the tunnel to light our way and give us hope. Just like the Statue of Liberty gave hope to all the immigrants that came to this country. Yep. So just a couple of details. This is the first of 3 webinars on advocacy. There's going to be one 2 weeks from today that Rick Nelson is going to share his story and how he's used that to get what he wants and needs to work on toward his goals. And then at the end of January, Kathy Fitzgerald is going to give an orientation on the key campaign priorities and how to explain them to legislators. The key campaign is February 6th and 7th. The main event is in Juneau, although there are key campaign rallies across the state on those same days. So you want to mark your calendar. I know that there's some travel funds available, and you can contact the Governor's Council if you have questions about that, or Key Coalition of Alaska. There's a Facebook page. If you have questions about the shared vision, we have an email for the shared vision, sharedvisionalaska@gmail.com. We have a website, DD Shared Vision. If you just Google DD Shared Vision Alaska, it'll take you there. Or there's a Facebook page. But our last few thoughts, so one of the big vision activities is Disability Pride Day. This year, I believe it's July 25th. I guessed a little bit on the date, but I think that's it. And Jenna is working on a statewide design for the t-shirt. And Jenna, do you want to talk about your thoughts with the design?
Sure. So we're from Alaska, so that's the mountains. And the Northern Lights, you know, they're so pretty in the sky. So I thought and then it's powerful because Northern Lights will give you happy and you feel happy with them and smiling. 2020 it's a big year, and you're not broken. I am. It's powerful. You stay with you. And on the back is snowflakes because every disability person is different. And then 30th anniversary of ADA, Disability Pride. And then we give a marker on the back of the t-shirt. And you see the dreamer right here? That should be blank, but I put dreamer in because I like Martin Luther King said, I am a dream. And I am a dreamer.
All right, so you'll be seeing Jenna's t-shirt design on this year's Disability Pride t-shirts. And then our last slide is Jenna has a challenge to everyone. And we'd like to hear from you. We're at the end of our slideshow, and we'd love to hear if you have ideas about this to share, or if you have any questions. But Jenna, why don't you go ahead and share your challenge to everyone?
So I want to challenge everybody, and what's your dream goal is? Like, what's your dream goal? So my dream goal is eating healthy and live long, live good. And I want to be a page in Juneau, journalist, and teach pottery to special needs people.
All right. Yeah. So in 2020, it's good timing because this is January 3rd. What's something that you're going to go out and do? And I think it's good for everyone to have goals, and maybe if there's a goal you would share when you're advocating and thinking about the support you might need to reach that goal, that can be a good message in advocacy. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. And I think Rick is going to, thank you all for joining us today. And I think Rick is going to now turn off the recording, and we're going to unmute. And we are hoping to have a conversation if people have things that they would like to share or questions to ask. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. All right.